Someone wrote into me recently a question that I thought was really interesting and probably one that we all have experienced as we're trying to navigate our very human experience consciously, knowing that we are first and foremost spiritual, conscious, vibrational beings. And the situation that she was referring to was basically, what does it mean when something good, something you've wanted, falls into your lap? You own it as like, all right, I manifested this. I was in alignment. I was in the receptive mode for it. And here it is. Holy crap, I did it. And either it goes away quickly or you go through months, if not years, before experiencing something like that again. So she's trying to understand, like, how did I manifest this once, but why not more frequently? Why did it not become my predominant experience or kind of create this domino effect of goodness like it? And in this case, it was a job opportunity where she got to do some fun voiceover work. It wasn't anything she was pursuing. It just fell into her lap and she auditioned and they chose her out of everyone else. And they're like, we love it. We loved it. We love you. Come back, do more. They were going to book her for more. And then it just like fell through. And while not a lot of time has passed since this happened, so she can't for sure say what the end of that story is, it made her think about how other times in her life, she's like, God, just when I think I'm doing something right, either it all goes to shit right away, or it does go right, but then I default or deviate back to my norm, which is a whole lot of nothing, or more waiting or struggling or yearning for more of those things to just fall into her lap. And this is somebody who practices consciousness, practices alignment. When I say practice, I'm referring to like having a formal daily alignment practice. You know, you're focused on gratitudes, you're journaling, you're meditating, you're doing things that get you into a state of higher vibrational alignment daily. Doesn't mean you're in a state of nirvana and ecstasy and bliss and above it all. Quite the opposite. It actually makes you more sensitive to the everyday fluctuations, but it makes you better at them, at navigating them, and coming from a place of alignment with them, recovering to that higher state of alignment more quickly and easily, perhaps, gleaning the lessons, the opportunities, the inherent gifts, right? So it's a valid question. You know, if you're practicing all of this stuff, something seems to come through and you just can't hold it. It's gone before you know it, and it might be far too long. Well, what am I doing wrong? Is basically what she was asking me. And my response to her and to anyone who experiences this, and my response to myself when I experience this, is generally speaking, or to put it plainly, it's not enough to manifest something once. You have to build up the capacity to hold it in your predominant reality. You have to be up to vibrational speed with it, as Abraham Hicks would say. Like, we've all manifested some pretty remarkable things in our lifetime, and change out the word manifest with consciously co-created, or if you don't even want to go that route, we've all experienced things that were really good, and we want to be in the right mindset, or set a goal or a dream or desire and work our way there. You know, whatever your approach is, we all want the same thing. How do we replicate it? How do we experience more of that? And one of the answers is, it's not just the only answer, but one of the major answers is we have to cultivate our ability to be up to speed with it, to hold it, to maintain it, to not deviate to those mostly unconscious patterns of, sometimes self-sabotage, and other times it's just, it was our default setting. We're more comfortable, familiar with the chase, the challenge, the survival mode versus thriving mode. And our conscious mind and what we're practicing says one thing, but our nervous system says another. So in this instance with this person, they said yes to this voiceover work. They did a full day of it. They got paid well. They were booked for the weekend. But she ended up saying no to the second one. They offered her a second date. I don't know much about that industry, but from what I understand, you don't say no. You know, everybody wants the gig, right? And she said no, because she had a prior commitment where she was going to work for somebody else in total different arena. And she wanted to be in integrity. She really needed that money though. And the self-sabotage that happened, it was unconscious and it was sneaky, because in her conscious mind, she's like, nope, I'm doing the right thing. Yes, the voiceover work is way more money for me and with a lot less of my time. Boy, do I need a new car, like all of these things. But, this other person who hired me for this other thing, I already said yes, and I need to be in integrity. Sneaky, right? Because it's noble, it's admirable. And it was the wrong choice. It was self-sabotage. Because if she had done the hard thing in that moment, which was to reach out to the person she committed to and was honest and authentic and said, hey, I had this opportunity come up. I really need to take it. I hope you understand, whatever. It is likely that that person would have totally understood. And if anything, be like, heck yeah, go take that job that's paying you more. You can buy a new car and you become even more reliable for me and what I need you to do. It could have gone that way. And if not, let's say it was like, oh, well, that's crappy of you. You're fired. That's not necessarily the wrong thing either. That could also be alignment working its way in her life to weed out a choice that actually was not the most congruent one. Anyway, she did the thing. This experience triggered one of her unconscious, long-standing patterns, which was to put the comfort of others above her own. She was being in integrity to that other person, but not to herself. And I'm not saying like, please don't take anything I say as like blanket. This is what you do in this situation, no matter who you are. No, this was very unique to her and her history, her stories, her beliefs, perspectives, perceptions, all of that. I already know all about that. So I'm describing it from that standpoint. I can't say the same for somebody I don't know. But this is how it can get really, really sneaky. And so it was like her unconscious mind was self-sabotaging her ability to let good things come in and stay in. So it slipped through her fingers. Now, I personally believe that they're going to call her like in a week and be like, hey, we're going to give you one more shot. We got a gig for you. And she's not going to make that same mistake, because in this quote unquote mistake, the self-sabotage, she brought it to consciousness and she said, oh, this, I see now, this hurts. Oh, why can't I let this go, Nova? Why can't I, be done feeling bad about this? I learned my lesson, but here it is. And to that I say, to make sure it sticks, to make sure that you can build that capacity to hold something good in your space and not push it away again. So then from here, like lesson learned, and I, again, fully expect that she'll get another opportunity and she'll show up differently with it. It will probably involve her having to say no to something else and kind of like repeat the same experience, different details, perhaps. But then that act in and of itself increases her capacity to hold good things. That is a statement, a declaration to the universe, like, yes, more of this, please. I can handle it. It is a new vibration being offered, and one of, I choose me, right? So she's going to attract more things that are supportive of her. But there are other things you can do too. It's, you got to kind of do the work. You got to catch yourself on these things. Get in there, dig deep with a therapist or a coach or your journal or your bestie who knows how to properly listen and hold space for you. And look for those things that need to be released so that, that are in the way of you being able to hold more goodness in your life, so that you can hold more goodness in your life. When people offer you something, they offer you a compliment, they offer to do something as a favor for you without asking for anything in return. Say yes and don't scramble to try to do something in return to them. That is a knee-jerk response based on a belief that, you can't receive. Accept it, and you're building up your capacity to receive. You're building up your capacity to hold it in your space, in your reality. So think about that for yourself. There's probably something that is relevant in your life right now, and do a little digging there.